Ladies and gents, my name is Xander, aka Diaside, and in this video, we're going to discuss some Super Saiyan game sense in Destiny 2 PvP. Game sense, what is it and how can you use it to be just like Goku in DBZ? Pretty much what this entails is anything and everything from your radar. How many blips do you have? Do you happen to have teammates by you? Are enemy teammates near you or are they on the other side of the map? All these things correlate together, including things like how many bullets in the magazine do I have? Do I have my abilities ready? And so on and so forth. I could go on, so much to the point that we're going to be charging up our Spirit Bomb for 5 freaking episodes. You don't want that? I don't want that? Nobody wants that. So the best way that I thought to really analyze this is by showing you a full-on game of Countdown. Now I'm going to show you my errors, I'm going to show you my successes, and we're going to really break this down step by step using some non-meta weapons, more specifically the Whispering Slab Bow and the Nature of the Beast hand cannon. In a meta where the Summoner, the Gnawing Hunger, and the Galliard are just dominant right now, clearly these things are non-meta. But without any further ado, the only thing left to do is just to simply sit back, relax, eviscerate that notification button, and let's jump right into the video. So here we are on Pacifica, and I'm taking out my Nature of the Beast in the very first round. I'm trying to gain that map control by bunny hopping on top of the ceiling here and using my momentum to actually get map control. I see a guy potentially at the top of the steps, I shoot a bow, I miss him, I toss another shot, don't even bother, I run to the outside, I see a guy there, I dip out of that because I'm like, nope, no wither horde for me. So then I go back into the inside and I see a guy there, sure enough I get him out, no problem, piece of cake. Luckily my teammates happen to get that res, but now it's a race against the clock to see the other res on the outside. I see that res, do an uppercut, get this guy, no res for you, not today. And then I see that the last guy is probably by my teammate, but luckily he finishes him off. Now the main takeaway from this entire engagement is that I saw initially I was going to try and get that guy on the outside, but there was too many guys. So I went ahead and dipped directly back into the inside there, got the guy by himself, aka isolations, and then went to help out my teammates after that, and we can all do this no problem. Next round ensues, I see a guy potentially on the inside, I'm not sure where, so I jump up, I look around, I don't see anybody, then I see some guys by the top of the steps there and a guy in the back, so I'm like, okay, I can maybe get him. I miss my shot entirely, I see a guy come out of nowhere, I dodge, toss my grenade, and now I'm the definition of absolute one-shot. I try and get this guy in the back here, I don't see him until it's too late, this chariot gets in my way, and I get completely crushed because of this. Now the main takeaway from this, my friends, is my biggest mistake here, and so as I rewind this and then put it on play and put it back on pause, you're then going to see is that my biggest mistake was right here by this chair directly in front of me. There are objects in this game that can move around, and this is an example of this, and it was my terrible game sense here to not remember that, and lo and behold, what this caused me to do is go directly up into the air instead of actually onto the ledge where I wanted to go, and so for future references, I'm going to remember that for this particular engagement and this particular spot, and so maybe that might come in handy later on. With this mistake, we go into the next round, and now I'm like, okay, maybe these guys are going to go into the outside, so I'm going to try and challenge them out there. As I go to this perspective, I'm trying to gain the map control as fast as I can once again. And then I look at my radar, sure enough, there he is. I get him no problem, bada bing, bada boom. Now I'm going to go ahead and plant this bomb. As soon as I'm done planting the bomb, what's going to happen next? I'm thinking, okay, I gotta protect this orb, so I'm going to try and stay near this as much as I can. Then I look down the hallway, I see a guy there, I take him out, and then there might be one more guy in the back. There he is. I get a little bit of damage on him, but I'm like, okay, is he going to pop out, is he not? I go around. Then all of a sudden my teammates die both at the same time, so I'm like, okay, I gotta protect both these orbs. I gotta pick one direction and get one of these guys because they're gonna pinch me otherwise. So I go for this guy in the back, just get him barely. Now I'm one shot, I look for a guy there, I don't see him, and sure enough, someone gets me from the cubby, and the round is over. At first glance, this looked like this round was gonna go directly into our favor as we got that first pick. But what happened, where to go wrong, and so that's why I wanna show you. Again, initially, it went beautifully as we got that first pick. And even for that second pick, that went great as well. So we were actually up 2-4. But then what happened? All of a sudden, I was looking down this hallway trying to get that third guy. It's right here as I put it on pause. My teammates actually went down at the exact same time. In situations like this, you gotta try and make the best of it as best as what you can. Sometimes things work out and sometimes things don't. But even so, I always maintain this mindset, anticipation without hesitation. That mindset's key for future engagements, and we'll talk about that later on. But this one comes up in the next round, and so I'm like, alright, these guys are probably going to go towards the inside of the map again. So I'm going to jump up here, see if they are. I don't see really anybody, but then I see a couple on my radar. He might be coming from the bottom vent, I don't see him there. I look at this hallway, he's not coming there. So I'm like, oh my gosh, where are these little sneaky munchkins at? I can't find these guys anywhere. My radar's going nuts, my teammates are dying, I'm like, okay, I gotta find someone in quick so I can help them out. I don't see anybody at the steps here, so now I see someone at the red steps. I try and get a little damage on him, can't quite finish him off, so I get this res in the center. As I do so, I know that most likely they're going to be coming from the vent. And sure enough, there's a guy in the middle, so I help out my teammate and we get that guy, and now it's a 2v2. As I'm reloading, I'm like, okay, what can I do next? I see a guy potentially at the bottom of the vent. I'm going to try and isolate this guy at the top of the steps again. Get him, no problem, just barely enough. But now once again, what am I? I'm one shot. So I gotta take a little bit of a chill pill, regain some of my health, try and get this guy in the vent. I get my hand cannon shots on him beautifully. It's simply too late. And once again, my game sense was not aware enough, and the bomb is gonna go off and I'm gonna die in the process. But my point here is that game sense is also pertaining to how many guys are on the map, how many are alive, is the bomb planted, all those things. And in this case, my game sense wasn't on point. As the next round ensues, we're down 1-3, so we gotta try and make a good comeback here. I try and go for these guys once again on the inside. I'm thinking, okay, maybe they're going to come from the top of the red steps. I don't see them there. I'm like, all right, well, nobody's here at all, so let's go ahead and get this plant. As soon as I get this plant, I'm then going to anticipate where they're coming from next. I see my teammate here, Heart's going from the left, so he's got that covered. I see that guy potentially at the bottom of the vent. I shoot a couple of bow shots, get some damage, toss my grenade, finish him off beautifully with my teammates, and then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, well, where are they coming from next? Once again, it's at the bottom of the vent. So I'm like, alright, I gotta try and protect this res. I can't, but I get some damage on him massively, and so I then retreat to the back, and I'm like, alright, last guard standing, super, let's go baby. Super Saiyan mode engaged, super activated. I'm like, alright, gotta get this guy with the bomb, get him. Block and deflect, get these next two guys, adios, bye-bye, ciao. And then I see a guy at the very back here trying to get that defuse. I'm like, no, 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 not today. Just like that, I get the Annihilation Medal. Now what I really want you to pay attention to here as I rewind this is that there was a point in time where I knew I had to pop my super and it was almost instantaneous. But this decision making process is key to understand as to why I did so. After I got some damage to the guy at the bottom of the vent, on screen I see three things. Number 1, last guard standing. Number 2, supercharge. And number 3, my radar is telling me that I got 2 guys to my left most likely and 1 guy by the bomb. With these 3 pieces of information, I got a split second decision to decide to pop that super, and sure enough I do so. The main takeaway from all this, my friends, is that these key decision-making processes have to be made instantaneously, and you have a split second to decide this. After my game sense told me this, and thus I made the appropriate actions using the mindset of anticipation without hesitation. Keyword there, anticipation and no hesitation. Remember, making a bad decision is always better than hesitation, because with a bad decision, at least you still have a chance to make a play on that bad decision, whereas with hesitation, that's not the case. Alrighty, now we go into the next round. I'm like, okay, these guys are probably going to do the exact same thing as what they did from before, try and attack on the inside. And sure enough, what do I see? A couple of blips. So I toss my grenade and then go to the bottom of the vent. As I pull out this bow, I'm like, nobody's there. So where are these guys exactly at? Well, I'm going to check towards the top of the steps here again, and sure enough, there's a guy. My biggest mistake here is that simply I missed my bow shot. These things are going to happen, and it's part of the game. Move on, it is what it is. Unfortunately, we lost that round, but now the next round ensues. And so I'm like, okay, once again, I'm going to bunny hop, try and get this momentum going, see if I can't gain that map control. And looking to the top of the steps, there's a guy, he's rushing like a bull. I'm like, no, 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 dip out of that. Trying to evade that Nova Bomb as best I can. I then take out that guy who shot the Nova Bomb in the center. And then as that happens, I'm like, okay, it's probably at the bomb. Sure enough, there he is. I try and take him out. Then out of nowhere, an arc staff comes charging. So I'm like, heck no. Run out of that and try and gain some distance, because what I have is I have some weapons that are better at distance, whereas my weapons that I currently have are going to get crushed in those close range engagements, which is where the arc staff strengths currently are. Now as I rewind this, there's one key takeaway that I want you to remember, and that is the body language of Guardians. Body language is everything, and so as I put it on pause, what's this guy doing? He's not even bothering to come and attack me, he's just charging directly out of the gate, and the reason why I know so is because his weapon's currently down. It's not even in a hit fire position. Not just this, but he's clearly right off that edge. And so I'm like, okay, this guy's gonna push me ASAP. So I'm like, alright, gotta dip back. And that's exactly what happens as I continue. As he's tossing that Nova Bomb, I'm gradually going back and back and back, gaining some more distance between him and myself. And then with the dodge, it helps even more so, and I go underneath the environment to actually dodge this Nova Bomb entirely. These are things that you can do just the same. What does it all pertain to? Body language. Are they going to attack head on, or are they going to do some indifference? Just the same way that as I realize here in this slow motion, I see this guy's going to attack me as fast as he can, so I'm like, run away as fast as possible, because this guy for a fact is going to try and close the gap. I don't have the weapons to counter this. So knowing this, I'm like, alright, get some distance, and sure enough, I do that, but just keep in mind that sometimes tactical retreats are very, very viable, and that's exactly what happened in this particular case. Moving on, we go into the next round. And what these guys done every single time, they've gone to the inside of the map. So I'm like, okay, maybe they're going to try something differently because it hasn't been working out for the past couple of rounds, so I go to the outside. As I go to the outside, sure enough, I see a blip by the A capture point, so I ready my bow, get him with a body shot, then dip out a little bit more, get into some cover, take him out. Once again, my game sense is coming into play, and I see a guy there at the back, so I get out my bow, finish him off with the hand cannon, no problem. I see one more guy, so what do? Strafe left to right, get that guy, try and get back some health, push onto the inside to help out my teammate, but he doesn't need any help at all, and he gets that last guardian, and of course the round W. Now as I rewind this, there's a couple of things that I want you to take away. I know that I got a bow which can do a lot of damage in a very short amount of time, and the hand cannon is just the same. And so as you saw from that first engagement, I used some guerrilla warfare tactics, then do the most damage possible and get him down. As the rest of these engagements continue, remember what I said from earlier, this is all about predicting and or anticipating what guardians are going to do before they're actually going to do so. At the beginning of this round, they were constantly losing their battles on the inside of the map, so most likely they were going to try and do something different by going to the outside of the map. And sure enough, what happened? There they were on the outside by the capture point. Remember, what have they done in the past? If they've done that in the past and it hasn't been working out, then more than likely try something new and you can count out just the same. With that being said, it's the beginning of the next round and we tied up 4-4. As always, I'm going to try and gain that map control as fast as possible, so I'm bunny hopping with my momentum. I see a guy by the bomb, but then I see a guy on my right with that wither horde, so I'm like, okay, I gotta make a play ASAP. Dodge, see a guy in the very back of the map there, so my teammate and I collapse on this guy, we get him together, adios, bye-bye. Now we gotta go back to our teammates and we gotta try and help them out as much as possible. I see one of my guardians is down, so I'm like, alright, he's by the bomb, see if I can help him out. I get there too late. I see a guy by the steps, I'm like, maybe I can get him, maybe I can't. Try and get this res here, but then what happens? This guy comes out of nowhere. I get him, but he stickies me, so I gotta get some health back. As I'm chilling behind this pillar, what happens next? I'm like, last guardian standing, maybe he's gonna try and get a res. Sure enough, that's exactly what he does, and he pays the price and we get the round win. As I rewind this, there's really one thing that I want you to take away from this, and that is that you can use your abilities to give you more information. And so as I put it on pause in just a couple of seconds, you're gonna see that right here, I used my dodge mechanic to see there was a guy in the very back of the blue bay. My health is clearly perfectly fine, and I'm not using this dodge to evade somebody else, but rather I'm using it to get a third-person perspective and see where somebody else actually is, make split-second decisions via that game sense. As we go into the next round, what's gonna happen? I'm like, maybe I can see a guy from the inside, maybe they're gonna be on the outside, I really don't know. So I take a guess and I go for the inside. I see a blip maybe at the back of the steps, so I see him, nope, I'm like dipping out of that, because he's got a sniper and my bow simply can't counter that. So I'm going to use this advantage to push up, gain some map control, see a guy crouched in the corner, I get him. I push up to the guy in the back, I also get him. Then I get shot from behind, do a 180 spin, pop, guardians just might become a little bit salty. As I went to the bomb, I realized that that guardian had a sniper rifle out, and that light indicated to me that there is no way that my bow can possibly compete with that, as his weapon is instantaneous, where mine still takes 2 shots. Realizing that, I'm like, capitalize on that opportunity because most likely it's going to hard scope, and so I then went ahead and pushed up. And as I did so, I then saw this 180 spin, but the question to you and why I put it on pause is what is the indicator as to what allowed me to then know to do a 180 spin. As you look by the radar, you're going to see that there's a red aura. This red aura is indicating to me that I am then getting shot, and getting shot most likely from behind. So what happens? 180 spin, Super Saiyan game sense engage, and I get that last guy with the bow shot via the body and then finish him off with the hand cannon shots, and the round as well as the game is finally ours. In having seen this entire game and breaking it down step by step, I know that you yourself can easily apply the Super Saiyan game sense just the same way. It's up to you as the player to take into account what the game is giving you, whether that be the radar, whether that be your teammates, whether that be the enemy team, whether that be a little red flash, whether that be a sniper rifle light, whatever it might be, the list can go on and on, but it's up to you as the player to decide which pieces of information am I going to act upon first. Now, if you found any of the information in this video helpful, then share it, as that's the best way in which you can support the channel and it helps me grow tremendously, but at the same time, I'm also very curious to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. No matter what you say, you always know that I'm going to respect your opinions, and that is something that I can guarantee. That's pretty much all I've got for you as of right now, Dia Slayers. And as always, GG TNT.